got some updates on Terrifier 2 and Halloween Ends. Let's get into it.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking a little bit about Terrifier 2 and Halloween Ends. I thought it would be kind of funny to put both of these things in the same video, because as you probably already know, the Terrifier people are kind of like creating this hilarious competition with the new Halloween film, saying their movie's gonna be way better, and I love it. I love me a good horror competition like that. I can't wait to do some kind of comparison between these two films because of all the smack talk, but before we do that, let's get into some updates, and of course, before we even do that, I'm gonna need you guys to like this video and subscribe. That was a smooth transition there, Jake. So talking about Terrifier 2, which has had a lot of crazy things happen recently. 2 new clips, as well as a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Let's just take a step back for a minute. Critics gave this thing a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is schlocky B-movie horror to the max, and you're telling me the critics are giving this a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, you just take my money, Damien Leone. Jesus Christ. But a new clip has surfaced from the film where Sienna, played by the lovely Lauren Lavera, who wished me a happy birthday this past week. Thank you so much, Lauren. And the also incredible Elliot Fulham playing Jonathan here, having a conversation specifically talking about Mr. Art the Clown. Now, there's a few cool plot things that they kind of mention in this conversation, specifically about how Elliot Fulham's character Jonathan has the dad's sketchbook, who I'm assuming is either dead, missing, or not around anymore, something along those lines. Please don't spoil it if you've seen the movie already in the comments. But in this sketchbook, we actually see a picture of Art the Clown, which makes me think that maybe this dad character fell victim to the old clown at some point in the past. On top of that, we see this picture of this missing girl, who apparently Jonathan's character had seen earlier on that day. And now, if you remember an update that came to us maybe almost 2 years ago now from Damien Leone, who promised us that there was going to be a scene that tops the splitting in half scene from Terrifier 1 in this new movie. I think that this scene could be the death of a little girl. There's this picture that came out a while ago of Art the Clown, and he's holding a child's hand, or maybe like a girl's hand. I can't really, it's just a really tiny hand. This is not a good example because I have like the biggest hands known to man. But for a while I was speculating that maybe this is Elliot Fulham's character dying at some point in the middle of the movie, but now I'm starting to think it's that little girl here. So could this be the scene that tops that original scene from Terrifier 1? I know I'm like the only person on planet Earth who hasn't seen Terrifier 2 yet, because everybody is tweeting about it and has said some kind of opportunity to check it out yet, but I will be checking this thing out on October 6th, so please, no spoilers in the comments. Seriously, I can't stress that enough. I think that this could be the case though, and if you want to speculate about that scene down in the comments below, go for it. I'm just so unbelievably excited for this film, and I really think it's going to be something special, if not the best horror film of the year. I'm assuming this thing is going to be just 2 hours and 28 minutes of schlocky horror bliss, and I can't fucking wait for it. But getting into a Halloween Ends update as well, we also have some new footage from Halloween Ends, shockingly enough, with some new shots from 2 specific sequences, is my big guess here. It's rumored that there's going to be a scene at a junkyard where a bunch of kids get murdered by Michael, and we have just gotten some new shots from that in a brand new featurette that came out today. If you remember from the trailer, I was speculating on what the fuck is going on with this bus in the background, and there's this like girl screaming. I'm like, what even is this? What is this scene from? Now we get some more scenes from that, and in the final trailer yesterday, I want to correct myself, that was not Andy Matichak underneath the fence. It was in fact a brand new character we've never seen before. Thank you to the 40+ people who decided to comment on my video about that. I got it after the first one, but thanks. Another thing I noticed about this scene after slowing it down is that we can very clearly see Michael's hand here, and it's not missing any fingers, so I'm starting to think that this is Corey. I'm just gonna say this right now, if they have anybody else dressed up as Michael, I don't even care how they're going to explain it, that's just simply going to suck. This is not the Scream franchise where we can have someone dress up as the character every movie and try to figure out who it is. This is Halloween, where we just have completely different rules, and it's a completely different playground. There's 2 reasons why I think the Corey Myers idea is just simply a bad idea. First of all, the same people who made Halloween 2018 are doing this movie, and they received a little bit of criticism about Dr. Sartain's character in the 2018 film. So it's kind of weird that they're essentially taking that same idea, making it bigger, and encapsulating a lot of the runtime of this movie. They've also promised to us that this movie is going to be the final showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. and they're making most of the movie about this other character we've never seen before. Maybe this is just like early footage or something, and James Jude Courtney is still just using his hands without any effects. You know, I just got my fingers crossed that maybe that's it. Please no Corey Myers. Please God no, don't do that. In some lighter news though, we did get some shots of Laurie and Hawkins at the grocery store, and it does appear that yes, Lawkins is a thing. And yes, it does pain my soul a little bit to have delivered that line a second ago. We also get these shots of Laurie writing what I can only assume is her memoir, where she finishes it off by saying goodbye to my boogeyman. This is yet another weird thing to me, because after 40 years, Laurie Strode could not get over the trauma that happened to her on Halloween night in 1978, and they're trying to tell me now that 4 years after the death of her daughter and son-in-law that she's just fine now. With all of the footage that they're releasing from all of these new featurettes and trailers, I'm starting to put the movie together, and it's just seeming so like underdone. Like if that's the route they're going to be following, doesn't that kind of retroactively fuck with some of the shit they established in Halloween 2018? I don't see a way around that. I mean, shit, we've seen Laurie Strode like celebrating Halloween now, which I just can't get around that. That's such a fucking weird visual. I just don't think this character would ever get super excited about this holiday when Michael Myers killed a bunch of her family members and friends in the past. I want to be excited for Halloween Ends, but I'm starting to think that this is going to be my least favorite from the David Gordon Green trilogy if some of the shit I'm speculating here, it comes out to be true. I got my fingers crossed that hopefully Halloween Ends is going to do right by the situation, and the shit that they're marketing to us is actually what the movie's going to be about, instead of some random character we've never met before and Laurie Strode magically getting over the trauma of 44 plus years of abuse. Oh, and surprise, I'm just gonna make this a Scream video too, because there's a little bit of a rumor going around that I decided to talk about, but I don't want to make a whole video about it because it's also kind of dumb. If you've been watching this page for a while, you know that I've reluctantly covered some weird Scream rumors over on Twitter because so many people have asked about it and wanted to hear my opinion on it, so once again I'm doing that here. A Twitter page claiming to know things about Scream 6 is talking about some stuff, like some character details and stuff. Let's talk about it and see if there's any truth to it. This Clips account first tweeted about Gale and Kirby having scenes together, saying that Gale's doorman entrance security guard equals Kenny 2.0. So I guess this is exciting for those Kenny fans out there that really liked that side character from the first Scream. Cool. Then there's a character named Ethan who is awkward, smart, and wants college to bend the opposite of high school. Lets loose under the influence, but doesn't deal with rejection all that well. So with some spelling and grammar mistakes there, I just don't know how reliable this account is. Also, they didn't list who the actor portraying Ethan is there, which I feel like if they were some kind of insider, they would probably give us that information as well. And then they also go on to talk about two more characters, one named Carly, who is very similar to Tatum as far as her attitude and fearlessness goes, enjoys partying and pushes Tara to let loose a bit. So all that description was just of Tatum Riley from Scream 1, who has the exact same relationship that this person is describing with Tara that Tatum has with Sydney in Scream 1. So nothing new here either. Finally, we get to a Detective Perillo or Perillo, who is an old school New York style cop, leans into that New York accent, specifically saying that this is not Dermot Mulroney. Now, this is the big thing that just feels so out of place to me. I just feel like if they had like this old school New York noir cop who's like, oh God, these streets, they just keep getting harder to take care of. There's always a problem in New York. You can't really make a difference no more. It takes a slight drag off of his cigarette and dramatically looks off into the sunset. That would be fucking awful. That just does not fit in a Scream movie for me. That is so against the tone of what I would imagine a Scream movie would have. That would be awful. I just don't think there's any truth to this, even though we do have a lot of people talking about it and already claiming it to be fact. Once again, this is coming from a Twitter account with only 1,000 followers, so I would not trust things like this and take it with a grain of salt. But what do you guys think about all these updates? Terrifier 2, Halloween Ends, and now a Scream 6 update too? Holy crap, it's just the full package in one video here. Leave me something down in the comments below about what you're the most excited about. Thank you guys so much for watching this brand new video talking about a bunch of horror updates. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, do all of that crap, support me on Patreon or become a channel member too. That would be pretty dope. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.